This video is to show the components of the Opel Monza and Vauxhall Senator A sunroof from about 1983 to 1987, what I call the Series 2 sunroof design, which is easily identified by the headlining panel, which has a separate tilting flap in the middle, whereas the Series 1 types used from 1979 to about 1982 or so, the headlining panel was simply a fabric flap which bent upwards as you tilted the sunroof. I'm now going to attempt to identify all the various parts to make it easy to fit and repair these sunroofs. Two major items missing from this video at the moment are the headlining panel, which is a pressed steel frame with fabric covering over it, and of course the metal sunroof panel itself, which I will tack on to the end of this video if possible. Right, so I'm now down below. You can see the various components of tracking and so on in roughly the position they are on the car. It is very rough, mind. This is the electric version, which is more or less the same as the manual, except obviously it has an electric motor instead of a manual winder. Apart from a couple of details on the front track and the mounting for the motor, it's otherwise the same. Note also that the Opel Monza and Vauxhall Royale sunroofs are about 3 centimetres shorter than this saloon, the Vauxhall Royale saloon and the Opel Vauxhall Senator A. So you have to make sure that you have the right length parts, especially as regards the centre panel, the headlining, and the two tracks for the cable left and right. Now I'll describe each individual part. Basically, the sunroof cassette assembly fits into the car as a complete unit. Here though, I've dismantled it all for ease of packing. Therefore, before it's fitted into the car, it needs to be reassembled. In particular, the front track here, front transverse track, has to be fitted to the side tracks using this bracket here, which is normally riveted. I'm pointing to the rivet hole. The control cables slide into holes, obviously, that run along the track, with the sliding plate here, which runs along there. So here we have the front transverse track, including the two cables. Here we have the right hand side track and the left hand side track. At the back there is a rain gutter which fixes to the side tracks and which slides backwards and forwards together with the sunroof. Underneath that, and fixed to the actual car roof panel itself, in what I call the garage, in other words the metal pressing that houses all this, is this piece here, held in place with 3 screws. The metal panel is attached to the guide rails, tracking rails, using these items here, which simply fit over like that and slide backwards and forwards. Here we are, one on each side. The metal panel, which is above it, is fixed to these pivoting pieces here with these plates and two screws and a plate on each side. At the rear, the metal panel is held in place by this item here, which is what I call a control slider. There are two, left and right. Basically, this fits onto there, and then as the cable moves backwards and forwards, so this this part here controls the movement of the sunroof, especially as regards the tilt. That's what the slots are for. They control the tilt. At the back of it, there's an L-shaped lug with a little nylon piece pushed onto it. Now these are designed to hold the rear of the sunroof down as it slides backwards and forwards. This lug fits underneath like that. So as the sunroof moves back, the panel is held down and it can't obstruct the top of the roof skin. Notice this slot here. This is where the part resides when the sunroof is in the closed position. And these often break because they're not adjusted correctly. They're rather fragile anyway, but they often break because people do up that screw too much and basically crush the alloy, and the bottom bits can snap off. So when you assemble the sunroof, it's very important to adjust this carefully, especially with the electric motor version. You must use the manual winder facility to adjust the sunroof carefully, and especially regards this part, because otherwise what will happen is that you'll think it's all okay, you'll go to operate the sunroof and bang, the lug's broken. Here's the electric motor used for the electric version. That there has got a slot in it, and you can use a screwdriver to turn the mechanism, either when adjusting or removing the sunroof, or if for some reason the electric motor fails. These two plastic pieces in the middle are rain deflectors, which fit to the metal panel with these screws, one for each side. Here are plastic pieces which go into the rear of the tracking and close off the hole where the cable goes. When taking these out of the car, these plastic pieces often get left behind and so are sometimes missing, but they're obviously quite important as they locate the rear of the tracking into little brackets at the back of the garage. Therefore, they help to locate this track in the correct place. Here we have the power cable for the electric sunroof motor. This cable runs across the top of the roof at the front, above the driver on right-hand drive cars, and goes down the right-hand A pillar down to a spade connector on the fuse box. When doing a conversion on Series 1 cars, I don't think the fuse boxes have a spade connector. I'd have to go and look at one to remind myself, but basically that needs to pick up on a convenient source of electrical power from the fuse box. At the front here is a draft excluder together with two spring arms which hold it up as the sunroof goes back. So these arms are released by the mechanism and they lift this up like that to deflect draft from the roof of the car. These can be quite tricky to assemble. There are two little brackets there, and they actually go underneath the tracking there with a screw just there. But before you do that, you need to assemble these. They've got little lugs which attach to the ends here, and then this end with a little pivot on it goes there, in that hole there. Over there you can see a piece of shaped foam which goes underneath the roof panel, underneath the front transverse track, and that helps to shape the headlining material so that it's nicely blended in. The one that is in this video is for a manual car. For an electric version, that would need to be cut slightly with a Stanley knife to accommodate the different shape at the front here. This concludes part 1 of this video. Here we have the headlining panel. As you can see, there's a separate section in the middle which tilts along with the roof. So this is the main distinguishing feature between the Series 2 sunroof design and the Series 1. The Series 1 doesn't have this separate panel. It's all one piece and it just flexes as you lift the roof up. Behind it, notice these little plastic bits. If you're going to recover this or re-glue it, this part needs to be removed, which often means these plastic bits break, so you need to be very careful. As you can see, the fabric is just pinned over on the back and glued with clips and some small bits of metal like here at the corner, so it's quite easy to recover if you're careful.